The miniature city. Darkness enveloped Luminara. The central crystal had failed completely, plunging the entire city into a blackout. Luminarians scrambled in confusion and panic as vital systems shut down. Without power, their civilization would collapse. In his attic, Ethan worked by flashlight, surrounded by crumpled energy readouts and discarded tools. He had been up all night, consumed with trying to understand the technology behind the Luminara crystal. There had to be some way to stabilize its energy flows. Rubbing his bleary eyes, Ethan studied the patterns on the latest readout. He tweaked the settings on a nearby control box, watching the waveform react. A glimmer caught his attention at a precise frequency, the spikes almost synchronized into a steady oscillation. Ethan's pulse quickened. This resonance phenomenon might be key to regulating the crystal. The Luminarians needed to know immediately. He switched on the makeshift communicator he'd built to speak with Luminara. Myro's anxious face appeared on the screen. "Ethan, the blackout is catastrophic. Most systems are offline, and we are unable to safely restart the crystal. Have you made any progress?" Ethan quickly described his resonance discovery. Myro's expression turned thoughtful. Tuning the crystal's frequency could allow it to stabilize. But we will need access to the central control sphere, which is located deep underground. And all long-range transportation in the city is disabled. Her report was suddenly drowned out by a metallic groaning sound from Luminara. Ethan glimpsed showers of sparks in the darkened city. "What's happening?" he shouted over the noise. Myro's face was grim. "A mechanical failure in our power distribution system. The blackout has caused severe malfunctions. If we cannot repair it quickly, we risk total breakdown." Ethan's mind raced. The Luminarians needed a way to traverse the city with no power and failing infrastructure. Then, he had an idea. "I can help guide you through the repairs using an observation drone. I just need to rig the camera and controls." Myro nodded. "Hurry! We will prepare our team." Ethan sprang into action. Digging through boxes, he found an old drone kit. His hands moved rapidly as he assembled and wired the parts. After connecting it to his control pad and monitors, he launched the drone through the hatch into Luminara. Peering at the video feed, Ethan guided the drone above the landscape of inactive machines and stranded Luminarians. Sparks erupted from a large cylindrical structure near the crystal base. "There! That's the malfunction," Ethan told Myro. "I'll talk you through fixing it." Myro gathered a team including Alara. They set out, using glowing energy tablets to light their way through the dead city. Ethan flew the drone ahead, scanning for hazards and reporting the best route. As he guided them onward, Ethan noticed a strange sensation. The worsening conditions in Luminara seemed to mirror his own quickening pulse and heightened anxiety. It couldn't be coincidence, could it? Shaking off the thought, Ethan focused on directing the Luminarians. "Take the bridge on the left. Watch that live wire near the stairs." With Ethan's help from above, Myro's team reached the damaged machinery. He used the drone's camera to inspect the interior, diagnosing the problem. The blackout fried several conduits. "You'll need to bypass them and get the core reinitialized." Step by step, Ethan talked them through the complex repair process. Finally, Myro threw a large lever inside the central cylinder. Lights began powering on around it as systems came back online. Cheers arose from the Luminarians. The city wasn't fixed, but this was a start. Ethan let out a huge sigh of relief. As he sat back, Ethan noticed that the tension had drained from his shoulders, and his pounding heart had calmed. He also observed lines of lights reactivating in Luminara, matching the change in his own mood. Ethan's eyes widened. his emotions directly influenced the city. This connection could be the key to controlling the crystal. He quickly conferred with Myrtle and Alara. Ethan would need to consciously regulate his mental state while transmitting precise energy frequencies to the crystal. Meanwhile, the Luminarians had to adjust their infrastructure to receive the frequencies. It would take perfect coordination and focus. Ethan took a deep breath as the Luminarians mobilized around the darkened central spire, preparing to implement the plan. So much depended on him getting this right. Gripping the controls, Ethan steeled himself. Lives and an entire world hung in the balance. Ethan froze outside his parents' bedroom. Through the half-open door, he could hear them discussing plans to renovate the attic. "It's such a cluttered mess up there," his mom said. "We should finally clear it out and redo the space." Ethan's heart sank. The attic, his passageway to Luminara. Panic rose within him. There had to be some way to stop this. He rushed back to the attic and began gathering his tools and notes, hands shaking. If his parents cleared everything out, he'd lose access to the Luminarians. All their hard work stabilizing the crystal could be undone. Ethan knew he had to act quickly. Using the knowledge the Luminarians shared, he started assembling a portable device to maintain contact with their world. His small fingers deftly connected circuits and crystals, incorporating elements of Luminarian tech into the design. After hours of intense work, Ethan heard his parents climbing the attic stairs. He stood protectively in front of his half-built device as they surveyed the space, frowning. "Ethan, I know you love your inventions," his dad said gently. "But we need to reclaim this space." Ethan took a deep breath. "Mom, Dad, there's something incredible here. Something I need to show you." He led them to the glowing hatch in the corner. As his parents peered inside at the sprawling, glimmering city, their jaws dropped in disbelief. Ethan explained everything. "I have to help them stabilize their crystal," he finished. "Their whole civilization depends on it." His parents were astounded. After a long discussion about responsibilities and priorities, they hugged Ethan tightly. "I'm so proud of you," his mom whispered. "Your grandfather would be too." With his family's support, Ethan finished the stabilization device. The next day, he eagerly tested it next to the hatch. As he sent precise energy frequencies into Luminara, the crystal's vibrations smoothed into a steady hum. The Luminarians cheered wildly as their city shone with restored power. Ethan beamed with joy and relief. Luminara was safe. Myrtle and Alara congratulated him via communicator. "We are forever in your debt, Ethan," said Myrtle. "You've ensured Luminara's survival." Afterwards, Ethan met up with his best friend Zoe at their favorite cafe. He told her an abridged version of the story, swearing her to secrecy. Zoe's eyes were huge, but she nodded solemnly. "Don't worry," she assured Ethan. "Your secret's safe with me." Ethan realized that while his scientific knowledge had saved Luminara, his human friendships anchored him just as strongly. He resolved to make more time for family and friends. After all, an inventor needed both inspiration and companionship. Cleaning the attic later, Ethan uncovered an old leather journal wedged behind a cabinet. It was filled with intricate drawings of Luminara's crystal accompanied by scientific notes. His heart raced as he read the author's name on the first page, his great-great-grandfather. Ethan's fingers traced the familiar handwriting. This journal proved his family's ancestral connection to Luminara. He couldn't wait to tell Myrtle and Alara. Alara's eyes misted over as she examined the journal's pages. "Your ancestor helped develop the original crystal. You were always meant to find Luminara." Ethan had never felt more sure of his purpose. By protecting this city, he was honoring his family's legacy. he would devote himself completely to assisting the Luminarians. Fortunately, his parents had a change of heart about the attic after seeing Luminara firsthand. They decided to preserve it as Ethan's inventions workshop and gateway. "Just try to keep the mess contained," his dad said, ruffling Ethan's hair. "And no more knocking out the power with your experiments." Ethan laughed. "I'll be more careful." He hugged them both tightly. Alone again in the attic, Ethan reflected on his unbelievable journey from a solitary boy tinkering with electronics to the guardian of an entire advanced civilization. Through perseverance and ingenuity, he had saved Luminara. But more importantly, the experience had forged connections that expanded his world in profound ways. He realized now that discovery did not just lie in far-off cities or celestial charts, but in the people around us, both family and strangers. Each friendship, even with a being so small, held meaning and brought wonder into our lives. Ethan smiled as he slid the hatch open, gazing down at the shining Luminarian towers. This was just the beginning. With his loved ones beside him, who knew what amazing adventures the future held? The road of discovery stretched onward, boundless and bright with promise. Ethan would travel it eagerly, buoyed by an open mind, a courageous heart, and the light of new friends guiding the way.